How's it going, everybody? Welcome to OP Entertainment. I'm Omar Darwish.
And I'm Pratik Cherian.
And this is our review of episode 4 of Obi Wan. Pratik, we're going to go spoilers at this point.
I
feel like I loved a lot of this episode, but boy, was it technically like a mess for me, honestly. And like, I loved everything Deborah Chow has done like up until this Obi Wan show, which is hilarious because everything she had done had got me excited about this Obi Wan show. And then seeing this, I'm like, this is not very well directed. And I don't know if I'm the only person saying this online, but I really feel like this is not well put together. But that being said, I love that there's little pieces of this that kind of remind me of the original Star Wars, going into the enemy base, saving someone. It felt like that, just like hiding from stormtroopers and whatnot.
I'll jump in here. Let me take like kind of a high level view of this show so far because I realized something while I was watching this that I don't think I realized earlier.
Okay.
And that is that so far each episode of Obi-Wan has corresponded to the movie to like the Star Wars movie timeline. So let me walk it through super fast. So episode 1, we have the Phantom Menace, right?
Sure.
So episode 1 of Obi-Wan, him on Tatooine taking place. We've got Luke Skywalker like doing pod racing moves. Like there's enough of these callbacks where both of them spend a majority of this time on Tatooine. Okay.
Sure.
Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. So episode 2 of Obi-Wan, we get like
it opens on Coruscant, right? Or is that episode 2?
Not Coruscant, but episode 2 of Attack of the Clones opens on Coruscant, yes. But Attack of the Clones, we get the introduction of the clone army, we get Jango Fett as a bounty hunter, and then to your point, like the opening of Coruscant takes place in like the dark, seedy underbelly of Coruscant. Mm-hmm. Episode 2 of Obi-Wan kind of takes place on this planet with tons of bounty hunters. It's this dark, seedy like underworld, and then we get like the shot of like the homeless clone veteran. Like there's enough callbacks going on there. And then obviously episode 3 with Revenge of the Sith and episode 3 of Obi-Wan kind of reenacts Anakin and Obi-Wan's battle on Mustafar, complete with somebody burning.
I never put that together, yeah.
Yeah. So with this one, with episode 4, and this is kind of what made me realize it was very much like Luke and Han sneaking aboard the Death Star to save Leia. And I think my biggest complaint with this episode, all of that long-winded explanation to say, I think my biggest complaint with this episode is I've seen this and I've seen it done better. And I think that was like my biggest complaint with it is I wasn't engaged enough, and I think there wasn't enough of an emotional investment here in any of the characters to make me really appreciate this episode specifically.
Okay, I hear you and I agree with you, but everything you had just said, I'm just thinking about like, that is awesome. That is genius. I take back everything I said about the directing.
Well, thanks for watching, guys.
I mean, is Deborah Chow the showrunner too? Because whoever the showrunner is, that's genius. Oh man, so now I kind of I'm just like speculating what's gonna happen with episode 5 and 6 now. Is it gonna emulate Empire Strikes Back and anyway, that's genius. Wow. Okay, we need to clip that, put it on TikTok or something. That was great. So yeah,
I completely threw you. This is amazing.
Well, because I was watching this and I enjoyed it because you know me, I've said on this podcast a ton of times that whenever you put like characters in one environment, it forces the writers to be creative, and that's exactly what usually you get. And with this, I felt like there wasn't necessarily creative writing going on versus like it was more like convenient writing. Like okay, we need convenience for convenience sake, but don't make it seem so. Like there's points in this when Obi-Wan, and I know you kind of disagree with me on this, where Obi-Wan's like in a narrow hallway and stormtroopers are on both sides of him, and they're both they're only firing at him the direction that he's facing. So there's like 3 or 4 stormtroopers behind him, just like waiting for him to turn around. Okay, he took them out. Now we can shoot. And it's like. Yeah. That's just not good camera work and editing. Like you can edit around that and make them run in timing. Like,
all right, I'm gonna push back ever so slightly here. Okay, I kind of agree with you, and
That's one.
Yeah, no. So I kind of agree where it's like okay, there's stormtroopers on both sides. Like maybe they should both fire. On the other hand, are you then like firing at your own? Like do you have stormtroopers taking out?
You could argue it's a narrow hallway. Yeah,
and then we'd be making fun of that. But also I thought the focus on the point of that scene was Obi-Wan improving getting back to his lightsaber things. We can see from the beginning of those scenes, like his ability to deflect the blaster bolts gets better.
I agree.
And I also think that they are very purposefully calling back to Luke practicing with the droid in episode 4.
But what Luke is doing with the droid is the droid isn't actually trying to kill him. This really feels like he's training. Like he's training, and these are coaches. Like, all right, we'll go and we're ready. They're not going for the kill.
It does feel a little bit like that, and I thought, and that's kind of where I agree with you with the editing, where I think there's a way to edit the scene where you can give us the like character beat of Obi-Wan and getting better with the lightsaber as he goes, as he like reconnects with the Force, and even like he ends that fight like with a lightsaber flourish, which we haven't seen him do before. But I think there's a way to do that without making it seem like the stormtroopers are intentionally like helping him train.
It felt like they were intentionally waiting for him to shoot because obviously they could just shoot him and it would be over, right?
Yeah. Even if that's like shoot it in with like a slow motion, or like give us like one or two scenes where Obi-Wan's like hand moves a little bit faster than he thought it would, and he like is a little, I don't know, something. You can do something with that, I think.
It bugged me also that their whole base, Inquisitor base, was almost destroyed because of one crack in the glass that was caused by a laser bullet from their own weapon.
Yeah.
They didn't think about that. I made a joke. I was like, okay, I guess the same guy that made the Death Star did this. Wasn't it Jyn Erso's like dad or whatever?
Yes,
I didn't watch Rogue One more than once. So that's that. I'm fuzzy on the Inquisitors and Jedi's powers alone, are like their mind reading abilities, because it seems like Moses Ingram's character that we said her name wrong,
Reva.
Reva. It seemed like she can't like use her power on Leia. You could argue because Leia is Force sensitive, but like when she's like interrogating, or I guess just like going back and forth with what's her name?
I don't remember her name.
The spy. I'm just gonna call her the spy.
Let's stop guessing names. Okay.
She was great. Yeah, the spy. When she's going back and forth, like I think you're lying and all this stuff. Do you have to think? Can't you just like read her mind and tell if she's lying? Like I don't know. Anyway, it's just little inconsistencies in the Star Wars universe.
Like I said, I'm never going to be like Force powers work like this.
Exactly.
Like it's not a video game. She doesn't have like a Force bar and she needed to wait for it to recharge. Like we're not doing any of that.
Yeah,
it's
we're gonna need.
She didn't.
A true Star Wars nerd in the comment section. Let us know how the Force works exactly. I had another thought, but go on.
No, that was it.
It had to do with her and the Force. I just can't remember it, so it's okay.
All right, that's fine.
So we also disagree about why Vader was upset at the end of this episode.
Okay.
I personally think Vader was upset because they let Obi-Wan get away, which doesn't make any sense because Vader lets Obi-Wan get away in, was it the prior episode?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's like, what is the plan here? Are they just playing this cat and mouse game for no reason? You think otherwise?
Yeah, I think it's less about getting away as it is. Because when he comes in, he's mad about defeat, right? And I think it's more about, these are his Inquisitors, this is his system, this is their base, and they let an old man and a child come in and punk them. And I think he's angry about that. And again, this is Vader's whole thing with Obi-Wan is proving to Obi-Wan that he's now better than him. And so the fact that Obi-Wan was able to come in and punk his guys makes him angry, because it still goes to like, there's still this little piece of him that's mad at Obi-Wan getting another one over on him.
Sure, but if he didn't want Obi-Wan to get one over on him, why wouldn't he just kill him when he had the chance? He even says to Obi-Wan in the last episode, you should have killed me when you had the chance. You just did that. Like, I don't know. It kind of undercuts Vader to me. It kind of makes him seem a little dumb to me, but this is young Vader, whatever.
Yeah, I think the point with Vader, I think if you do Vader and you make him, I think Vader at his peak is Michael Myers, but if you make him Michael Myers all the time, you're doing Vader wrong.
Yeah.
Because Vader, again, you have to think about about the dark side and his relationship with the dark side and what emotions and what is driving Vader primarily. Because the dark side is versus where the Jedi are all about like letting attachments go and letting go of your anger and your fear and everything else. And the dark side is all about like using your anger and using your fear and making other people afraid, and it's feeding off of fear and anger. And so I think a lot of the times with Vader, you have to view everything through the lens of where is his anger and his fear, and where is that driving him? What is that driving him to then do?
Okay, so you were stating earlier, there's a plan to this, episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
Where do we think this is going? Like where? Because like, Like I was saying, I feel like I said this in our Miss Marvel review. I felt like that show had more of a narrative thrust than this show. This show doesn't feel like it's like I don't feel like we're propulsed into any I don't know if that's the right word to any direction right now. I feel like it's kind of just like happening. This show, nothing's really.
So I think this episode ends with Obi Wan has Leia, and so now. Technically speaking, the plot of this show has been about him rescuing her and getting her back home, right?
Which he's kind of sorry, not to cut you off, or to cut you off, I guess. But didn't we hear that like this show was too close to Mandalorian, so they had to rework the script and everything? And is this not Mandalorian? Old guy, or I guess Mandalorian's not that old, but a dude is like just kind of rescuing this little baby thing.
At the same time, you're still like. Yeah, it is kind of sort of similar. I think the relationships are different, and I think maybe that's what they wanted to rework. Sure. But no, so back to my point. So I think now we've reached that point, which a lot of stories reach this point where it seems like our heroes have now achieved everything that they set out to achieve. And I think that's more of what you're feeling because you're like, okay, what do we do with 2 more episodes worth? Yeah. And we'll see. I mean, clearly they're not home free because there is that tracking device that is with them. And clearly we know that Vader and the Inquisitors are still going to be coming after them. Yeah. So there's still a little bit more to do. Obi-Wan's got to deliver Leia and completely shake them off his tail before he can go back to Tatooine.
What do we think is going to happen that's going to be what gives Obi-Wan his groove back? Do we think he's going to, you know what it's going to be? Yeah, because it's gonna be the Empire Strikes Back next episode, right?
Sure.
So we're gonna get like how Yoda trained Luke. We're gonna get Qui-Gon back. He's gonna be on Obi-Wan's back, just like Yoda. It's gonna be great. I'm calling it now. The next episode's gonna be the Qui-Gon episode, which he's in. Yeah. He's gonna be in the show, right? It would be crazy to not like at this point, right?
Yes, but I do feel like I almost feel like that's an episode 6 thing.
You think? I think 6 is like I think he trains. I don't know because this show has like not gone the direction.
I don't know either, but I think based on what we've had so far, as far as like how far cut off from the Force Obi-Wan has been, and even in this episode where we see him like
struggling to move whatever it was.
Yeah. I feel like with talking to a Force ghost is something that he's still I feel like this Obi-Wan as we've left him is still not ready for that just yet.
Well, he's tried a couple times.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem to be anything.
Yeah. So which is why I feel like maybe it's an episode 6 thing. I also feel like if you go with
what is it that gets him how does Obi-Wan get his groove back?
I don't know. And I'm excited to find out.
I'm excited to find out.
I'm not going to write this show for them.
Yeah, I mean I can't even like speculate because I just don't even. They're not even like hinting at any way other than he's been trying to talk to Qui-Gon, so that's why I'm like using that. But story-wise, I don't really know how he's going to, because we know that in Star Wars, he said Vader says, "And when I last fought you, whatever, I was but the learner. Now I'm the master." Vader just whooped his ass in the last couple episodes, so like. Well, they have to have a fight where Obi-Wan wins now, right?
Yes,
Unless they're saving it for another Obi-Wan show. But come on, how long can we stretch this out?
Or that's also episode 6. And episode 5 is just setting up that confrontation, maybe.
Which is what I think is more. He's going to train in episode 5, and episode 6 is going to be the big confrontation. Based on how short these fights seem to be, I think it's not going to be a very long fight.
I am hoping that we get at least one really, really excellent lightsaber fight scene, which we haven't had yet.
I would love it if they actually put Hayden in the Vader costume and let him like swing around the lightsaber how they were in Revenge of the Sith, like on Mustafar when they were fighting. I mean, I know a lot of people kind of joke about how they were just kind of hitting lightsabers, but that was like probably one of the most entertaining fights for me in the Star Wars movies. So to see just Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen going at it with the lightsabers again, that would be cool. And we didn't really get that the last episode. So
yeah.
All right, you want to score this?
So overall, there are small things that I liked here. I think we spent most of this review kind of talking about all the things that it did wrong. And I think for the most part, it's not that it did things wrong. It's just it did things that I've seen done better elsewhere.
Yeah.
It's not like I didn't enjoy it. And I did think that the runtime of this episode, like they could have stretched it out and that would have been a disservice. So I kind of appreciated that they stopped it where it did. All of that long wind up to say, I'm giving this one a 6.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It was fine. It was okay. I think there was a lot of drawbacks, a lot of things that I didn't enjoy.
Logic things that just
but at the same time, it was Star Wars. It was sneaking onto a base. It was classic. It brought up those feelings. So I enjoyed it. I just like I'm not singing this episode's praises.
Okay, this episode has like a lot of good stuff in there. It's kind of been my issue this whole time is it's not edited correctly. And it's just this is like technically one of the worst like Disney Plus shows. Like not cinematography wise, just like technically as far as like editing. That's really what I'm saying. Like, and I didn't want to touch on this because I know Moses Ingram is getting a lot of hate online that is unjustified. She's fine. She's not terrible. The editing of her like interrogation scene with Leia is atrocious, and they keep cutting back to it, and it's like that. It's like I want to say it is the acting a little bit because there's timing in these things. Like there's no moments to breathe. Some of her pauses are way too long, but that's an editing thing. And it's like Deborah Chow is a good director. Where is it? Where is the good direction? And I'm just not seeing it. We're 4 episodes in now. And I feel like that's why I'm like, I was ready to give this episode probably a 6, but after you went through your mirror to how they're mirroring this to the original trilogy and everything, or just like the original Skywalker saga, does that mean we're going to get 7, 8, and 9?
No.
Probably not. Okay, but I'm thinking probably like a 7. I'm thinking probably like a 7. There's a lot in there I liked. I like that they're on this like Inquisitor, whatever they called it, that Dr. Seuss name, the Inquisitorium Explorum or whatever their base is called. I liked that. Vader was fine in this, although we have disagreements about what his motivation is. But yeah, overall, I like it. I like what's in there. It's just not put together great for me. So I'm going to say 7.
All right, that's fair.
All right, you want to take us out?
Sure. Thanks for watching, guys. Tune in next week. We'll have another review of Obi Wan. We also reviewed Miss Marvel, and we'll be reviewing that as well next week. So be sure to check out the review we did, the review we're going to do, past, present, and future. We'll see you guys.
All our reviews. See you guys.